Welcome back to Play and Trade Guitars. I'm John, that's Zach behind the camera, and this is Play and Trade Guitars, where we play it and trade it. Today we are checking out the Epiphone Jerry Cantrell Wino Les Paul Custom. Would you buy this guitar? Should you buy this guitar? I will tell you everything you need to know about this guitar when we pull it apart on the bench. Of course we're going to plug it in and play it. At the top, if you have not yet hit subscribe, hit subscribe. We're bringing you great guitar reviews here on Play and Trade, and we're giving away an American-made acoustic when we hit 100,000 subscribers. To win that guitar, hit subscribe now, turn on notifications, and sign up down below. Everything you need to see is pinned in the comments or down in the description. All right, without further ado, one of the greatest hard rock bands of all time, let's check out the Jerry Cantrell Wino. I'm excited about this one. One of the sweet spots of value for Epiphone is their Les Paul Customs. There's a few to choose from. This one represents a great value at $849 with this awesome hardshell case. Let's take a look. All right, beautiful wine red finish, and I'll tell you what sets this apart from the $799 Epiphone Les Paul Custom, which is one of my favorite from Epiphone. It's an absolute bestseller. A few upgrades on this one to be aware of. Both have an ebony fretboard, which looks and feels fantastic. You're going to get a little bit higher output from the humbucker, this 98T in bridge position. You still have the Epiphone Pro bucker in neck, just like its counterpart. The big primary difference between the two, though, is going to be in the wood. On the $799 version, you're going to have an all mahogany body. And on this guitar, you're going to have a weight-relieved, 9-hole weight-relieved mahogany body with a maple cap. There is a maple cap on this guitar, and then the wine red gives you a little bit of a kind of a translucent effect. I can't really see too much wood grain, but there is a plain top maple on here. The rest of it, we can go ahead and get some measurements, but it feels great in the hands. Why don't we go ahead and pull the strings out of the way, get some measurements before we plug it in. Starting up at the headstock, you've got the split diamond inlay Epiphone. Split diamond is one of my absolute favorite headstocks on a Les Paul. Jerry Cantrell on the truss rod cover. We'll flip it over, and you've got gold hardware on this guitar, Grover's here, and then the JJ emblem here on the back. You have a gloss poly finish across the neck. We'll get measurements on that in a second. Beautiful ebony board, acrylic block inlays on this guitar. You can see the gold covered Pro bucker in neck position, and then the uncovered 98T, a little bit hotter in bridge position. Adam Jones Les Paul Custom would be one to check out. We'll talk about that when we get to my final score at the end. But plain top with this wine red. I'm a sucker for a solid color finish on a Les Paul, and this looks fantastic. Standard controls and three-way toggle. Let's go ahead and get the strings out of the way and get some measurements.
What's the JJ mean?
Yeah, I was about to say Jerry Cantrell. I'm like, oh, that's not what that means. I have no idea.
Jared
Yeah. 1.68 inches at the nut, 0.82 inches at the first, up to 0.96 inches at the 12th. So not too thick. I guess that's the top of slim taper territory there. Weight relieved mahogany body and the maple cap, 1.9 inches thick. Let's flip up these humbuckers and take a look. You got the Epiphone Pro bucker here in neck position, short neck tenon on this guitar, and flipping up that 98T in bridge position. Give you a look at the routing as well. You can't see the maple cap there as well. Flipping on the multimeter, we get a reading on the pickups. We are 13.6, so definitely hotter in bridge position. 7.4 in neck, 4.8 combined. Lifting up the control cavity cover, hand wired. We got CTS 500K pots. I should say hand wired with these connectors, but
hand connected.
Hand connected, yeah. Right. All right, let's get a weight. 8 pounds, 5 ounces. We'll call it 8.5 pounds. And then flipping the guitar around. Nice, comfortable neck shape. Not too much meat there. Great ring to this guitar. I noticed that as I was tuning it up. Feels great. I'll remind you, if you are in the market for this guitar or any other gear, click to buy new gear using our link. You'll get fast free shipping, easy payment plans, and don't forget to hit subscribe to, giving away that Martin. But let's get to work with plugging this in. I'll show you clean tones, we'll dirty it up, and then let it sing behind a track. On the other side of that, I'll give you my raw reaction to playing this guitar along with a final score. So drop a comment as we go. I'll see you on the other side. Let's get to work. Feels great. right, in case you couldn't tell, I did really like playing this guitar. You stuck with me to the end, so I'll give you my final score and reaction to playing this guitar. I based my score on 3 categories: overall playability, overall sound, overall value. Playability was a knockout. And let me back up for a second. We will talk about value, but one of the things Epiphone really nails is the Les Paul Custom. The Les Paul Custom is not in production from Gibson USA currently. You can only get it from the custom shop. So I mean, in terms of what you're getting from Epiphone for a fraction of the price of what it would cost to get a Les Paul Custom from the Gibson custom shop, they are delivering not only the guitar that you would expect, but all these upgrades between the Jerry Cantrell version, which we're dealing with, between the Adam Jones version, between the off-the-shelf $799 version. They are knocking this guitar out of the park. It's one of Epiphone's strong points, so I will say that out of the gate. Playability, sorry, bringing it back to this one. Playability of this guitar was fantastic. The construction was top-notch. Nothing got in my way whatsoever. Just straightforward, simple, no-nonsense, standard Les Paul controls. The neck shape was fantastic. The gloss felt really nice. I got no complaints, and the ebony just feels fantastic on this guitar. I'm going to go ahead and give it, it was a joy to play. I'm going to go ahead and give it a 9.3 on overall playability. When it comes to overall sound, I really like the extra kick out of this bridge pickup. It makes me wonder if at some point they'll do a run of these with Gibson USA pickups, since that seems to be the thing now. But I'll tell you what, with these Epiphone, this 98T in bridge, it reads the equivalent of like a 490 in like a, in the Gibson Les Paul Studio, a little bit hotter output. And it just sounds fantastic. This 98T really gives a good push in bridge position, but I've always been a fan of the Pro Bucker because it sounds nice and thick and warm in neck, and both tones are so usable. This is definitely getting above a 9 in overall sounds. No nonsense controls. I'll go ahead and give it a 9.2 on overall sound. And then when it comes to overall value, for $849, you can click our link for all the current availability, pricing, everything. But for $849 currently, you are getting this guitar with the souped up bridge pickup, with the Jerry Cantrell touches, and importantly the hardshell case, because that's a big value add right there. All that for $849. It is pretty darn hard to argue with this guitar. If you are comparison shopping for a Les Paul Custom, you can look at the $799 version. It does not include a hardshell case, so right there you're coming out ahead buying this one instead. That one comes in that white if you want that white finish, but I love this wine red. It looks fantastic. The other guitar, if you are serious about the Les Paul Custom and particularly souped up with a hotter bridge pickup, you definitely need to consider the Adam Jones Les Paul Custom in the Epiphone lineup. That's also going to have a hardshell case, and that's going to have a Seymour Duncan distortion and a Gibson custom bucker in neck. So that's also big value add, but that guitar is more expensive. So here's the deal. Of all of them, I'd have to say if you want the best value for a Les Paul Custom from Epiphone, this Wino, this has got to be it at $849. This is going to get a high watermark score of 9.6 in overall value. That is going to bring us to an overall score of 9.4. Very high scoring guitar. Definitely would recommend it. And if you are in the market, click right now to shop. You can shop using our link pinned in the comments or down in the description. You get fast free shipping, easy payment plans, and if your credit's down in a hole, the payment plans make it super simple. Yes, I did just say that. Thank you, Zach. And I'll tell you what, until next time, see you on the next review from Plain Trade Guitars. I'm John, that's Zach behind the camera. Keep rocking, and thanks for watching.